Hello YouTubers, today's video is Wegovy for Veterans Part 2 after 2 weeks of injections. Hello YouTubers, this is the second part of my series of Wegovy for Veterans. Now in the last series or the last video that I put out, I discussed or told how to, what steps you need to do to get onto the Wegovy system. Uh, what you had to do by contacting the VA, some of the things that would be recommended, like joining up with the GeoFit exercise group, as well as the MOVE program, which you're probably pretty much going to be, required to do so. This may not be true. Depends on your own personal health system or your health situation. On this one, this is the second of the series, and it's been 2 weeks since I started the Wegovy, and so far I have not had any problems at all. Any side effects have been very little, if any. Couple things I might have noticed, but they were so small. It's almost like at our age, like if you're over 70 like myself, it's something that you kind of experience anyway. So, I've lost approximately 10 pounds. Now it's been, like I said, it's been 2 weeks since I started it, and on Sunday, this happened to be Tuesday, Veterans Day, but on Sunday I had taken my third shot. And like I had said before, these things have been working very well and they've become easier to use. I haven't noticed any kind of problem. I don't feel any pain, when I'm doing the injection. And it's very simple. All I do, and just to recap, is I take an alcohol swab and I swab the area that I'm going to, inject at. I let that dry for a second, and then I take the pen and I push it up against that point, and you'll hear 2 clicks. After the second click, I count to 10, and at that point, I take it off, and it's all done. I don't have any pain afterwards or any discomfort. It just seems to be working pretty good, and so I'm anxious to monitor it and experience more and more the weight loss. Again, my weight has dropped, and as another little side feature is I also, as required, I've been keeping track of my blood sugar. And I check my blood sugar every Monday and every Friday, and I do it in the morning. And so far, I've had a high, which was at the end of the first week, of 151. Now that was probably because I had eaten a little bit too much, or too much salt. And then on Monday, which would be yesterday, I was only at 114. I'd actually hit 111 on last Friday. So, very positive effects. So, I've also been watching my diet. I've been very careful as far as watching what fats I eat, cutting way back on my salts, and cutting way back on the sugars. And as far as carbs, I've all but eliminated eating breads. I've stayed away from carbs so much. Now, I'll admit, I've had a few potatoes, and I've also had tortillas. And I'll use tortillas when I make like a breakfast burrito, or maybe like a breakfast or a taco at lunchtime. But again, those are very low in carbs and very low in calories as far as the ones I use. So that's been working very well. A couple of the tools that I've been using is one, and you can check when you go onto the Wegovy system, prior to that, if they're watching your blood pressure, they'll give you a blood pressure cuff. And as far as mine, I've got the regular monitor, and then I also have a tablet that they had sent me. They sent me everything here. Now, those work very nice. You don't have to write anything down. You just make sure that you take your blood pressure once early in the day, preferably in the morning, and then once again at night before you go to bed. If you're on medications, especially blood pressure medications, they suggest that you take that first, then wait an hour or so, and then check your blood pressures. So my blood pressures have been doing a lot better now as well, with the exception of when I kind of go off track and I have maybe something where it's extra salty. And so that, which I did yesterday, because I was at a birthday celebration. We went out to dinner, and I had some things that were salty as well as greasy. And that's one thing you're going to run across is when you're out to eat in restaurant food. There's also a lot of salt as far as an ingredient, a lot of soy sauce, especially in Chinese food or Asian food, and then you'll get a lot more fats and MSG. So that you're going to have to be careful with. And again, you can get guidance as far as how to deal with that, especially after you've gone through the MOVE program. The other tool that I've been using is on my phone. I've got an app. It's called the MOVE Coach. I don't know if you can see that very well or not. But anyway, I've got an Android. I think it might also be available on Apple. But this particular app, and the one I use the most is a part of that I use the most is the tracker, where it will track my weight. It'll also track my food log, and then it also keeps track of my physical activities. I enter my steps in it every day. I put my physical activity in it every day, and along with every meal. And I'm totally honest with my meals as far as how many calories I've taken in. I know it's real easy to say, well, I had a bowl of chili along with this lunch, but I'm not going to claim that. I claim it. I put it in there. I want a total, honest, and accurate guide as far as what my intakes are. And you'll feel a lot better by doing it. And then as you go along, you'll feel that your eating habits have changed somewhat, as well as you can see your progress. And you know that progress is a good, honest indicator, or you're getting good, honest results. So, that way you look at this and you can't say, well, I didn't write everything down, or I put down more than what I really took. I put down the accurate amount so I can keep track of it. Now, upcoming, I do have an appointment at the VA with my primary care provider. I've got that coming up tomorrow. I did have labs done last week, Thursday, so they'll have those results. I also have a phone appointment with the pharmacy physician. That's coming up on Friday, and he'll be discussing everything that I need. As far as my results, he'll talk about what doses I'm going to be taking up next, and so on and so forth. Now, I'm not sure what's going to be happening, and I'll fill you in on the next video. My fourth shot is going to be on Sunday, so if I talk to him on Friday, I will have enough time to get the new ones, whether it's going to be an upgraded, or a higher dose, or the same. So now, after I talk to my pharmacy physician, on Friday. At that point, he will probably make a decision as far as if I stay on the same dosage or if he's going to raise it. Either way, they will send me my new dosages to arrive by next week. I still have one more dosage yet, which is going to be which I'm going to inject on Sunday. So that gives all next week for me to receive my new dosages or my refills. So as I said before, when they do these, there's no refills on them. They send you 1 month at a time, and that's it. And then they decide what the dosages are going to be increased, stay the same, or dropped. So, in the meantime, there's nothing really more to kind of touch base on. Like I said, I have dropped down approximately 10 pounds. So, and in 2 weeks, I think that's pretty good. That's almost, like I say, it's about 5 pounds a week. And I really believe that's more than what they really anticipated. A lot of reports that I heard before were about 2.5 pounds per week. So I feel I'm doing pretty good. And I would like to think by Thanksgiving that I'll be down about 20 pounds. And by Christmas, I could be down as far as 30 pounds based on that rate of losing weight. And so, but things change, and of course, a lot of people have always said, and this is something I've experienced before, it's easy to lose the first 10 pounds. After that, it seems to be harder. And that's what we're going to be going through. So I'll know more next week, and as I keep track of my weight. I hope this answers some of your questions that you may have concerning Wegovy, especially for my fellow veterans. And if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And most of all, thanks for watching. And please, if you have any questions or comments, good or bad, just write them in the comments and let me know. I always respond.